Hello! So today we are going to build this KBD67 Lite with the Lavender switches we have. And I looped the Lavender switches with Krytox 205G0 on the housing and stem, and also the Krytox 105 for the spring. And let's open it up. Unboxing time. I haven't opened up this case since it arrived. Yeah, I would say the case itself is not very durable, like compared to, let's say, if I have other keyboard case from Bosa. You definitely feel like it's more durable. But that's fine, right? Because the total price for this KBD67 Lite is actually 109 or 119 or 109. I don't remember, but it's around that range. Yeah, let me check if there's something I can do to get more people, because I'm building something people were interested with. Okay, so let's open this up for the first time on my garage. Yeah, actually the zipper was super hard to open. It's not like other zippers. It's very easy to open. Okay, cool. So this is the box. What we got? A cable. Yeah, you can call it a quad cable. I mean, I don't remember, but it's like $5 to $10 on the KBD fans website. And I got this one from the Deskeys. So we have this is probably the band-aid mode for stabilizers. We are going to use that. And we have a card showing how do you install the hot swap PCB with the switches. And here are some tools and screws. I don't know if we were going to need them, but I definitely need the bump on fit and also the tools for sure. And then is the keyboard, which is very light but a classic black color. So the only thing is the logo. The font is super funky. I think it's similar to Comic Sans. But yeah, if you look at finish, I would say it's not that bad. And just look at whether we have any gap on the plastic. Yeah, like I really like the side profile of the KBD67. I think it's very close to the Cola or maybe the KFE. And since this is designed by AI03, you probably can have the same PCB working on your KBD67 Mark II with this one. So we noticed the stabilizers were, I won't say it's really like pre-looped. I mean, it's pre-looped, but I don't think it's enough. So we are going to open it up and try to loop them. Okay, so we need a bump on, we need the tools. We don't need everything else for now, unless we are missing screws or whatever. And we're going to use the band-aid they are giving to us. Yeah, I would say it's not that flex. I guess because of the mute mount and also the standoff. Yeah, I wonder if we should remove the standoff to give a better typing experience, but yeah, you're right. If the clients try to swap the switch and without the standoff, it may be the problem. But yeah, let's just open up. And for the bump on, let's just install that so it will be harder to slide. And the keycaps we are using today, I will probably just use the GMK Taro on that. Yeah, I think the Taro on black were looking nice. Unless we want to have other keycaps. So let's see, for the tools, we probably can use this manual one, or we can just find the right screws for it. But yeah, I think today we are just going to the chill mode. Yeah, because this is plastic, I don't want to later on when I try to screw them in and break the case. Yeah, and also we have a screw pad that can stick the screw on. Hey, welcome! I just started. So basically this is the carrying case, which contains everything. Actually, it's super nice you have a carrying case for this keyboard. And has the cable, has some extra tools, screws. And now I'm just opening up so that we can try to tune the stabilizers, because the stabilizers stock were not looped really well, and also I think maybe they don't really cut the extra legs, but we will see. At least tuning the stabilizers were the important part of our build, and also we are going to use the band-aid KBD fans provide us for the band-aid mode of stabilizers, so it gets a nice typing feeling and maybe a little bit muted sound. Yeah, so the cable it comes with were kind of quiet. The quiet cable were not as fancy as the other one, but it's still a great cable to pair with the keyboard. So definitely good value of that. Yeah, I don't think this is like a possibly bad purchase at all, because I look at all the reviews, they were pretty good on the typing feeling and actually typing sounds. And the look, yeah, let's just like take a closer look. So this is the bottom. It doesn't have any weight, so it feels a little bit flat. But if you look at the curve of the side, yeah, so this slight curve were super nice. And top case, you like the label on that? Yeah, actually the side profile is pretty nice. So it's very clean, and also just like the shape, like the bezel, you can see a little bit thicker on the top and bottom and thinner on the side, which is actually pretty nice. I feel like this is well balanced. And this is a designer who designed the KBD67 Mark II as well. And this designer is AI03, which actually designed a lot of boards that later on become the hot keyboard on the market. So this one I got early on from Mac Market. The polarized is pretty much the best keyboard I've ever typed on. Okay, let's get all the screws out. Yeah, so the only thing is this keyboard is not very heavy. So if you're looking for a heavy keyboard, this is not the one. And if you look at the bottom, it even have a battery slot. I mean, this keyboard, I mean this PCB doesn't have any wireless battery support, but in the future if you want to swap out with other PCB that support the battery and wireless, you can do that. So this is the bottom case. And we have the case form layer below, so it has a deeper typing sound. And we have the top case. So we have the metal screw insert, so you won't break any plastic part. And we have some part to hold the mute pad. This is the silicone piece. Yeah, we have the replacement, so if you miss any one, you can still get that. I wonder if you can even install like additional for different fitting. Yeah, but I think they are pre-installed on the slots, all the available slots. So 8 of them. And this is the PCB combo. So we can see it uses the hot swap socket, and the layout is fixed. And we are going to unscrew the stabilizers and tune them. So first we need to unscrew all the standoff. Okay, standoff. Where's my screws? Okay. So one question, do we need those standoffs for the final build? Because for standoff, they are pretty good for make sure like you can have the PCB and plate as close as possible. But once installed, you may not need them to hold them because of the switch friction. Like switch can make sure the PCB and plate will get as close as possible. But with the standoff, the typing feeling will get a little bit stiffer. So potentially we can get rid of all the standoffs without need to have them. So the question would be, do you need them? And this is the PC plate. So by nature, it's actually pretty flex. And we have the mute mount go between, which is also for the gas key mounting. And then we have the PCB. We have all the standoffs. I mean, we can remove them if you want, but I won't remove them until I got confirmation from you. And we have this KBD72 Mark II RGB. So this is like perky RGB. Yeah, it will line up really shiny. So let's make sure we don't lose any screws by putting screws onto the screw pad. How many of them? It's 9 of them. And it's 9 of them on the PCB as well. Okay, let's remove all the stabilizers and tune them. Yeah, let's see if they are tuned by any means. I don't think so. It will be a lot of effort for KBD fans to pre-tune them. So make sure. Yeah, so they actually pre-clip them, but the loop work, yeah, I won't say it's super good. So probably let's just redo them. And also, yeah, they don't have the band-aid mode. So let's make sure we are doing that as well. And now I need to clean that. Yeah, okay, so I would say I will recommend not using the standoff and try that, and maybe it's a better typing feeling. Yeah, sometimes the stock one were not as good as how you can mod them. So yeah, let me just remove the standoff and try that, and if it has any problem I can just like get back the standoff. Yeah, it's not a huge deal. But also another thing is, if you really want to get a better stabilizers in the future, you can try to get a much more expensive ones. But yeah, I would say try this one first, because for the custom keyboard words, you want to have gradually upgrade at a time, so you can tell the difference. But yeah, let's try to remove the standoff and see how that sounds and feels. I mean, it probably won't affect the sound, but it will definitely make the typing feeling much better, just because of how standoff were. Yeah, let me get the toolbox so we can collect everything. The screws. So the shot screw were on top of the standoff. So we overall have nice standoffs. Okay, let's wipe all the extra loop from the stabilizers. Yeah, I don't think they were using any fancy loop anyway, so potentially I will use the better loop here to make the stabilizers feeling better. Okay, so it's 5 done and another 4. So how are you doing today? Any weekend plan? Yeah, my friends start getting vaccinated so they can go back to the outside. And I'm fine. I have my keyboard to work on, so it's not end of the world if I don't get vaccinated in another month or 2. But yeah, I know people who don't play keyboard, they probably want to go out ASAP. Computer science homework done? Okay, I know that feeling. Especially, actually, I don't know how the remote like course were taught, but I know how the feeling is when you need to work on computer science homework during the weekend. Yeah, some of my colleagues also get vaccinated, and they were mostly have some kind of relationship with medical people. So I would say I don't know how they get that, but they get that. Okay, yeah, I think the Y were pretty looped at the standard of well looped, but I don't think the housing were looped that well. So I'm going to use the Krytox 25G0 to loop the housing. And I probably need another paper towel. Yeah, it's too sticky. Yeah, I think C++ is really great for you to learn the basics of computer, just because how it has the great concept of pointer and also the memory allocation. So that's something like a lot of modern language doesn't focus on because they are pretty hard to master. And I think like other than C++, maybe the next language you want to have a try is like either Python or maybe JavaScript, just because how easy they can be written and you can do a lot of small fun projects with those language, either on the terminal or maybe the web browser. So yeah, C++ to learn the foundation, and Python, JavaScript for practical use. Yeah, I think I start from learning C, which is super hard to learn. Because for learning C, like you don't have a lot of standard library. Like you don't even have vector set. Okay, so without set, I don't even know how I can manage to do a lot of basic actions. So I totally forget why do we even teach C at the first time. But yeah, I think that's like making things harder so you can appreciate how the modern language can do. Yeah, I think I learned C at the first semester and learned C++ on the second, and I super happy about C++. Yeah, better than people who learn C++ at first and get tired of that. So definitely interesting way of learning things. Start from the harder one, so people don't complain about easier but still hard one. But yeah, I think like after that, the language were just a tool to use. Like you can learn a new language pretty quickly if you just need to use them in practical world, because you have a lot of example to follow and you get to know the basics. So learning a new language is not very hard after you learn one or two languages and master them. But yeah, I think spending some time other than the cost time to learn something is pretty nice. Yeah, I think like after work I stopped learning something new after work. It's just because I'm lazy, or just because the work itself is a little bit too stressful. Yeah, I'm being so good on the past few weeks just because I almost finished my project and will probably need to launch that in a few weeks. So at this point I'm just doing more on the internal testing without need to worry about, you know, like millions of people using that and giving me bugs, but also better state than like last month when I still have a lot of things to do. So this month or maybe this week I just get a lot of things done, and finally in a good state that I can tell people it's ready for you to test, I mean internally. But yeah, this is kind of the sweet spot. You have something that other people can try, but not like you have to fix all the bugs that people report to you. But yeah, this time is pretty limited. Yeah, soon it will go out the word, and not million, but at least thousands of people will use that and start complaining about anything they can complain. It's just nature of the user. So I am actually a mobile engineer who work on the mobile application. Yeah, basically anything that our other departments were doing regarding the web products, like we were trying to see whether they are suitable for the mobile application to adopt, and if they are, then we just make the mobile version out of that and try to make it work. But mobile application requires a lot of like experience, which sometimes it's more like you don't know how you do that until you tried several approaches, and next time you do the similar things, you know how to do that, and it's hard to tell why you are doing that way. But maybe that goes to any other stack as well. Yeah, so I think that's definitely like easier to pick up backend stuff at first, because most of them were close to what you learned from school. And if you were interested into the client work, the web and the mobile were a nice one to learn. Yeah, I think the courses for the mobile nowadays in university, yeah, back time when I was in university, they were pretty new, so no lecturer or maybe professor understand mobile at all. So it's more on us to figure out myself. Yeah, but I like that feeling, like nobody really knows how to do that, and you were just exploring all the options and find the, I won't say shortcut, but find the minimum solution to do something. So it's not really like how you will end up doing day to day, but sometimes when you learn new things, that's the key. Like, yeah, problem solving is very important. Yeah, it's like when I start to know keyboard, I know, okay, I probably will have to build a lot of keyboard until I know what I like, but I can also find some way to speed up my learning on the keyboard and also my spending on the keyboard. But I don't really know, maybe getting someone to help building is a good way at the time. So I would say you're lucky. I'm helping you. But yeah, I shouldn't extract it on what I can help, because budget is always important to consider in the hobby, and even like I can provide a good recommendation, it won't compare to other like $500 keyboard for sure. So we will see one thing at a time. At least for the switches and the keyboard itself, they must be much better than the pre-built keyboard, so still much better. Yeah, I think for the CS, like learning is one thing and internship is very important nowadays. But maybe it's too early for you to think about. But I think a lot of people start getting internship even they haven't mastered a lot of things, because of how the industry were very different than the school, and they will know, okay, what to improve on after they did one internship. Maybe it's not a perfect internship, but they know what to work on next. But yeah, just some random saying. Yeah, so actually the viewer you were seeing here basically like the top-down camera or the iPhone I have. And I don't think it's like super high quality per se compared to other like mainstream streamer, but still it's better than what I can do from another Android phone maybe. So I basically make a viewfinder for the camera, actually the iPhone, and use the OBS software to stream that. Okay, go back to the stabilizers. Let's try to I think there's no reason to rush anything, but plan ahead is always a good way. So I know, like in the industry, the most recognized school from all the companies in the Bay Area were a school called Waterloo University, just because their students were doing internship back to back as their masters. So sometimes they are doing like 5 to 6 internship throughout their, I won't say career, but their school life. So end up getting a lot of experience. But sometimes it's not super good way to only do internship, because you may end up not learning something that's very fundamental. Yeah, it's always the trade-off. Like nobody has unlimited time. Okay, yeah, so the sticker or the band-aid, if we were saying, were not very easy to peeling. Okay, yeah, let's see. And also it has 2 sides, so don't make it wrong. Yeah, you don't want to block. And also it's a little bit longer than the keyboard, so maybe we need to cut extra. Okay, I don't know where they apply to. Let me check. Oh, I found them. Yeah, sometimes if you cut off something and don't see them, it's not good feeling. Okay, let's do the other ones. We probably need to cut this one as well. Thank you, yeah. I'm trying to find good music overall. Like even I don't have, you know, hundreds of viewers, I find relaxing doing this work myself. Yeah, this is also the music I probably play during my work. But to be honest, it's not like very easy, because you have meeting time to time, so you have to like remove, like pause them and open them again. So have a keyboard shortcut is definitely very useful. But I don't know how to pause the YouTube music. I mean, this is just like the YouTube channel stuff. Yeah, I will figure out later. Okay, got you. Yeah, so for the newer keyboards we are getting this time, like you can easily assign the key maps for whatever you want to do. So later on you can basically assign the keys on the right side. Like you can do page up, page down, or you can do like mute, volume up, volume down, or you can even make them under a layer. So press the function key and press certain keys to be like music control. So that will be super handy. I mean, depends on what your use case is. I usually just map them to the volume because I think I control my volume much more than I control my like page up, page down. So yeah, getting the first custom keyboards will probably even like more productive, and you can even set the macro to like write the repeated sentence. For example, if you want to create a function and you know the function signature, you can basically get that sentence into the macro, and it's like you keep typing something like vector, you can press maybe function to V, so it become vector. But yeah, if you actually get a good words per minute, you may not need to have that. You can direct typing on the keyboard. Yeah, sometimes I feel no, you are not the only viewer. I have the client watching. I don't know, maybe the viewer count were just not accurate. But yeah, client is watching and he knows what I'm doing. So Hazel is someone who just like look around to make sure if I get no viewer, I should not work on this keyboard. Just kidding. But if she is the only viewer, then she will be the viewer, so I can still keep working, right? Or maybe if she look and there's only one viewer, I'm out. So I need more viewer, for sure. But Hazel, I'm talking to client about why I learned C instead of C++ on my first semester. Surprise. Okay, after installing the stabilizers, nowadays I usually don't really need to test the stabilizers just because I know how looping them at first is very close to how you can add more loop later. It's just like a little bit more work, but you can always just fix as how you can loop them at first. So yeah, no need to test them. Just directly go to the switch inserting and keycaps installing. But yeah, if you were doing that for the first time you're doing, I would still recommend testing your stabilizers, because later on when you try to loop them again, it's harder. So it's your mileage may vary. Yeah, look at the PCB itself. The stabilizer's peeking out when you have it. So the PCB itself is pretty small, thin. And plate is the one who actually holds everything and try to be gasket mounted. So yeah, now let's put the mute mount. We have this huge mute mount. And then the plate. And we don't need a standoff just because how it will be easier for us to have a flexi typing. And now we are getting the switches. Okay, let's get all the unnecessary tool out the thing so it's get cleaner. And we are going to use this lavender switches. Yes, so the lavender switches were the deep sound JWK very smooth linear switch, and they look really nice. And every time when you need to like put the switch, you want to make sure the switch pin was straight. Yeah, basically like very straight. So when you push them in, you can guarantee they were not. Okay. My bad. And usually you want to push the corner first, so that hold the plate straight, and the four corners to make sure you get a good start. And every time you push them in, make sure you have some, either the desk or maybe your hand holding the hot swap socket, so you don't end up pushing them out, because once the socket were pushing out, it's really hard to solder them back. Yeah, so the loop on the Lavender were Krytox 25G, which were the same loop I used on the stabilizers. Okay, let's get some more switches on the bottom row. Yeah, so basically like the switch pin itself had enough friction to make sure the plate and the PCB were close. Yeah, so if you were looking for the fancy color, there's another switch I have. It's called Compatible, but they are basically very close to the marshmallow color. But yeah, they are pretty expensive at the moment. So this one, the Lavender switches were still very nice one. And also I swapped the spring to a gate-around red spring. So it's actually light enough that you don't really feel they are heavy switch. And every time I insert a switch, I make sure they are a good switch, because I actually didn't really like get all the switches consistent looped. So I will probably compare a little bit. Yeah, I think Lavender switches were pretty. Other switches, like only the other switches I feel like prettier were just the one I showed. But yeah, Lavender were pretty nice. Oh, there's another one I really like. It's called Penguin Switch. They were also nice color. But I would say like for Lavender switches on this keyboard, just because of the housing were transparent, it can get the RGB shine through much better. But yeah, most of the keycaps we are using nowadays don't have the shine through feature at all, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters when you want to have the RGB peeking through, but it didn't really shine through on the letters. So it's more like a nice to have features, but definitely pretty. Yeah, you will get to see that soon. Yeah, so either you have a really firm desk that you can put your your plate or PCB on, or you have your hands to support from bottom. This is a better way to do it. But yeah, if you don't care about other switches for now, I don't think you need to do this work until like later on you want to try other switches. But otherwise, I think my work should just make it work without problem, without need to do another type test. I will test the PCB later, just because of how hot swap PCB is hard to test. It's probably even better just do switches than typing test. But yeah, always try to test the PCB before you assembling. So make sure you got a okay PCB to come. But yeah, protecting PCB is another way. And I think like overall for one keyboard, like total budget $500 is like as reasonable. Yeah, I don't think I've seen many keyboards that sell at this price with such good start quality. So really definitely like good value of that. So the other day I just pre-ordered another keyboard. Itself is like $400. And I don't even know how they feel and they typed on, because that's the first kind they were making. So this one, like, it's proved to be good keyboard with this price point. Definitely good for people who want to enter the custom scene and not know like which are the good keyboard to try. Yeah, so the other keyboard I was getting is called UTD-356 Mini. And that was like a clone on the very original custom keyboard called OTD-356 Mini. And to be honest, the very original one was just like really innovative on the mounting style, but I don't know how they compare to the modern keyboard now. So I just want to get some feeling, similar feeling around how the vintage keyboard feels. So yeah, the other keyboard you mentioned, GK61. Actually, I got GK64 before. I would say even it's like half price, or even like maybe 1/3 price of this keyboard. It's definitely not worth getting that, even it's a hot swap PCB. I just don't get like how people would feel any difference between that keyboard versus the pre-built keyboard. So if you're trying to get a good keyboard, definitely start from this one, no doubt. And the other keyboard similar to this price range, like were not as available as this one. So it's a great trade-off. Okay, look at how nice the Lavender switches were here on this PC plate. Okay, now it's time to put the case back. So we have the top case, we have this plate with the mute mount that you can insert back into the keyboard. So it's actually like injection molded. So everything will align perfectly. And then you just like slam on the case form. Actually not the slam on the case form, it's putting case form and slam on the bottom case. Yeah, that's my word. Let me check why it's not well closed. Yeah, maybe it's the USB-C port, but yeah, before that I should make sure my hand is clean. Okay, let's do this way. Yeah, let's put this one onto the bottom case maybe. Let's try this way. And then let's put on the top case. Yeah, I think that's the USB-C port, so you probably want to put on and slide in so you get the right angle. Then finally put the top case on and try to screw them in. Yes, that's the reason, the USB port. So the order to screw them in will basically like go the diagonal direction. So get someone in and get the other side. Yeah, then it's definitely an easier job to do now. Yeah, I won't try to compare this keyboard to like, you know, $500 keyboard, but I will definitely treat this as a good, I mean, I will use pretty high standard to try to tell my feeling about the keyboard, just because how this is a keyboard that's really hyped up. I mean, not hyped up by KBD fans, but hyped up by the community. So yeah, we screw everything back. Now it's time to put the keycaps on. Okay, let's see. Yeah, have you decided on your keycaps to use? So I thought you mentioned is that Olivia clone that you were trying to get before? So the GMK Samurai will probably a good buy. Let me check the compatibility. Yeah, because the job GMK Red Samurai may not be compatible with some 65%, but let me check if this one will. Yeah, this one will. So I would say yeah, if you want to get the GMK keycaps, GMK Red Samurai will definitely a great buy with 90 bucks on such layout. For example, the one I got here, if you really count the value of them, I mean not value, but the aftermarket price of them, they were definitely like 3 times of the Red Samurai. So yeah, getting the standard 65 layout has this benefit of job selling that. Okay, I can already feel the sounds were pretty nice. Like if you're getting a keyboard that you don't need the metallic sound, this sounds pretty nice. Yeah, previously people want to get, you know, the silver, the metal case, aluminum case, just because how they can sound a little bit metallic. But later on, when people start inventing the gasket mount, and the reason were being like when you have other mounting system, the case vibration causing the echo inside the case, which were sometimes not pleasant and not consistent. They were ABS, and ABS were not bad. Just because how other bad ABS keycaps were there, doesn't mean the GMK ABS keycaps were bad. And to be honest, I'm using the ABS keycaps here, the GMK Taro, and I don't really have shine yet. I don't really use them a lot though, but the quality of this GMK ABS keycaps were just like stunning. So you can see this is like pretty thick keycaps, and with double shot, it has the legend in the mode, so the legend won't fade no matter how long you typed on them, how much shine you put on them. And the color accuracy were pretty good, because how they can achieve this one with just the same mode again and again, and with their color matching process to make sure they were high quality on the color and also the keycaps itself. So yeah, definitely if you like the Red Samurai, I would say go get them. And maybe you can get them from Mac Market, maybe you don't need to get from Drop because it's always in stock from Drop. So maybe some people get them and want to sell like lower than the cost. I mean, depends on, it's all up to you because maybe the quality were not that good, or maybe Drop has a better protection. Because if you change your mind within certain days on Drop, you can still just change your keycaps or maybe return your keycaps, but not like you can do that for a Mac Market buy. So yeah, definitely take your time to think about the keycaps. Make sure the one you buy were as nice as possible. Okay, so which novelty are we going to use? Let me get a shift first. And yeah, I always like the enter to be very bright. And maybe this one for this. And we want from top down the Boba series. And bottom. Okay, I think we can go the Boba Tea on bottoms since we haven't used any yet. Yeah, I think the key of GMK Taro is definitely the novelty. It's so nice that I want to get a Taro Boba Tea now. Okay, let's take a look on the keyboard. Let me hide this one. Yeah, and the side profile. So yeah, it's not really like the color difference, it's just like the shape and the angle of the lighting. So there's no like color difference of the top and bottom case in real life. Okay, so this is the keyboard and I'm going to do a sound typing test. So the USB-C cable position is on the left, and look at RGB. Okay, I probably want to change to another RGB mode. Let me check out the VIR. So basically, like for config anything, you can basically go to this software called VIR. And yeah, it doesn't really let you control lighting from here, but let me do the key test first. Yeah, it's long due, but I don't think we will have anything bad, just because I don't think I did anything catastrophic at all. So that's good. And let's take a look on the layer 1. Okay, so very traditional RGB toggle, RGB mode, hue, saturation, brightness. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I promised some people that I want to make a video out of this one. So let's just make sure they know what I'm doing. So here, basically, if you want to control the RGB light on this keyboard, and you open the VS software, all you need to do is looking at if you have lighting table, and if you have lighting table, it will be very easy to know how to control that. And if you don't, you want to look at different layer. So look at if you have some key called RGB, like hue, saturation, brightness on any layer. So if you don't have them, you can basically assign them on like layer 1. On all the keys with the triangle, that means the key were not assigned before. After you assign that, you want to go back to layer 0, which is your base. So find where the layer key is, and if you don't find any layer key here, you basically want to go layers and try to assign the layer key. For example, if I want to change this right control to layer 1, I go this one called momentarily turn layer 1 on. Now every time I press this MO1, I basically can go and toggle the RGB. Yeah, let me turn on my music so my voice can be more clear. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so to recap, you definitely need to know what the layer key is, and also on the layer itself, you make sure you have all the necessary key that works. So let's do any change now. So for example, if you want to turn off RGB, you press this layer key and also the corresponding key. So you can turn off, turn on, turn off. And next one is called mode. So for mode, you basically can change different lighting modes. Yeah, so you can see there's tons of lighting mode it usually supports. And once you want to change certain like a solid color mode, you can do the hue change. Basically, you can change from red to green to blue to purple to back to red. And hue minus, hue plus were just like different way of changing the color, changing the hue. And the saturation, is that next saturation? Yes, saturation and brightness. Saturation is when you want to make it more yellow, more red, or make it a little bit pale, so less red, so it become kind of like white. And you can change back to very saturated, very red. And the brightness, yeah, basically more brightness or less brightness, basically turn it off. So yeah, on and off, different modes. And the saturation, if you have a solid color, oh no, sorry, this is hue, this is hue, this is saturation, and the brightness. So if you're happy with the color mode, you can leave them on. Oh, and also the speed. So the next key is to turn faster or turn slower. So you don't want to get the RGB light going too fast, you can go slower. Yeah, that's pretty much everything about the RGB light control. Yeah, hope this will be useful for people who ask that. Okay, now it's time to do the typing test. Okay, how will the typing test really works for this keyboard? Yeah, we will see. So let me make sure I got a good angle for that, and make sure I got focus on the keyboard itself, and go to the monkey type, and also put my microphone next to it so it captures sound better. And finally, just type that. Yeah, so this is the KBD67 Lite I built for the client and I put the Lavender Switches on, and it comes with the PC plate, and I'm using GMK Taro on it. And here's all the mod sound. Yeah, pretty good typing sounds. Remove the desk mat. You really want that? Yeah, to be honest, I can do that. I just need to find where I put this keyboard. Yeah, I don't want to put on. Okay, I think I can put on the desk. Yeah, I really like the sound as well. They were really nice. To be honest, I don't think I can say like they are better sound like these keyboards given the price, even like double the price. I don't think I get that. Cool, so this is without desk mat. Let's do again. How does that sound? Does it sound better? Worse? Yeah, that's 205G0 with linears. If you type on the command build, you will see what I'm having here. Yeah, that's very signature 205G0 on linear. This is Lavender Switches. So very traditional JWK, but this is deeper. Yes, you guessed correctly, 100%. Yeah, I think I like without XMAC much more. It's just because maybe like all the mute this keyboard have, maybe we can try to remove the case foam and maybe it will sound a little bit louder. But yeah, for beginners, probably like, you know, like you want to get this kind of like standard, then you can start removing the layer of foam and see how that sounds. So you think loop is too thick? Yeah, I loop on rails and stems. I think I like this one. I don't like too thin loop that you know, sometimes it removes it. How do I say that? Yeah, overall, like if you loop like this layer, after you type a little bit more, you will have a better sound. Maybe the first one is not really great, but after typing for like several weeks, it definitely get a really smooth and also like nice sound. But yeah, definitely like the first day or maybe the first time I type on that, it's not the best typing sound I can ever produce. That's why like I try to use it for a day or two, then record another typing sound video. That sounds actually better than the first one I built. So that's actually the nature of, you know, getting loop on and type for a while, then loop spread evenly and get more consistent typing and sounds. So let's see what so what loop are you like favorite to put on linear? Like, do you want to put on other things? Okay, you only loop that much. Yeah, I think that's good, as long as like it removes all the metallic ping and also the spring ping. I think that's enough. But yeah, for me, I actually like how I loop this one. So just do another typing sound and I will end. Okay, yeah, I think that's enough, and I will end the stream. And this is pretty fun stream to build this keyboard. And see you next time.